no, tiny. A big boy.
Wayne Rooney stunned the boxing world when he blasted the idea of Jake Paul stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua, insisting that the matchup should never have been approved.
And Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua.
Jeez.
What do we think of that?
You know something?
Are we getting to the point of ridiculousness, or?
Well, it's coming off with a Tyson fight because we don't know what happened. It felt fixed because Tyson. If it's not fixed,
yeah, if it's not fixed, then it's ridiculous. I think. I don't know how it's being passed.
It shouldn't be in there with him.
It's
crazy.
He looked genuinely baffled that a fight with such an uneven physical matchup was even allowed to move forward, and he sounded worried about what could happen if Joshua decided to put full power behind his punches. To him, the gap between the two men was so wide that it made no sense for a commission to greenlight it in the first place. Rooney wasn't speaking blindly either. The way he saw it, the warning signs had already been there when Joshua fought Francis Ngannou earlier that year. Ngannou had a terrifying reputation in mixed martial arts and carried legendary knockout power from the UFC. Yet even he couldn't stand up to Joshua's accuracy and strength. Joshua knocked Ngannou out, and Rooney believed that result said everything about the danger Jake Paul was now walking into. Even though Paul had boxed more often than Ngannou and had spent years training exclusively for boxing, Rooney felt that experience didn't cancel out the reality that Ngannou had an entire lifetime of fighting behind him.
If Joshua goes for him,
did you see what he done to Ngannou? Did you see what he done to Ngannou?
I don't know how on earth it's being passed to fight.
Is that a bit like what we were talking before about going to Saudi? Is that almost like a... Are we saying now Joshua's like... Is that almost like him going to Saudi as a footballer?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, but
I can't take Anthony Joshua serious now as like a world title sort of... It's almost like if he's coming to the end of his career, fine, he's going to get 70 million, whatever.
Yeah.
But to then do that and then go and fight for the world title, it just doesn't feel right.
We got to get him on, Gal. We got to get him on. Make a call.
When he fought Ngannou, it's the same thing, obviously.
Yeah, loads of money.
Jake Paul's a better boxer probably than Ngannou is, but he's just not. Size difference, everything about the fight is just wrong.
Paul's resume didn't help Rooney's concern either. Paul had beaten some big names, but not the type of boxers who were still competing at an elite level. His biggest step-up had been Tommy Fury, who handed him his first professional loss in early 2023. Outside of that, most of Paul's opponents had either come from different sports or were well past their primes. Stepping from that world into a ring with Joshua was closer to leaping across a canyon. Joshua, even with setbacks in recent years, still carried the kind of power that could end a fight instantly. Rooney remembered how unstoppable Joshua once looked when he first broke onto the heavyweight scene. Joshua had blasted through names like Dillian Whyte and Dominic Breazeale with frightening force. His defeat to Andy Ruiz Jr. in 2019 shocked everyone, and the back-to-back losses to Alexander Usyk slowed his momentum, but none of that erased his natural size, strength, or experience. To Rooney, Joshua was still on a completely different level, and he didn't see how Paul could safely handle that.
And I don't blame Anthony Joshua. I think, fair, go and get your money.
I've huge respect for boxers, but all that stuff, that carry-on is ridiculous.
He must fancy himself, Jake Paul. He must feel he's got a boxer, like a puncher's chart, if he's got that, because we've seen with Anthony Joshua, if you catch him, he's gone. But at the same time, if Anthony Joshua puts a couple of combinations on him, catches him in it, it's could be dangerous for him.
There's different levels to boxing. It's all right in fighting Tommy Fury and whatever, but just similar size. But to go and fight Anthony Joshua, it's dangerous.
I felt a little...
If something seriously happens to Jake Paul.
While Rooney was sounding alarms, Moses Atuma, who once trained in the same gym as Joshua, added a more balanced view. He didn't attack Paul for the decision to fight Joshua. Instead, he focused on the reality of modern boxing, where the money involved could convince almost everyone to take big risks. He said, "Fair play to him. I'm going to be behind him because I like to see a man strive for success. Although I don't want to see him beat AJ, I'm going to be behind him for his success story." Joshua himself wasn't walking into the fight on a high note. His last showing had ended in a brutal defeat to Daniel Dubois in the 5th round back in September 2024. That loss had caused him to part ways with trainer Ben Davison, who also worked with Atuma. Rumors were circulating that Joshua was preparing with Team Usyk in Spain, leading into the clash with Paul.
First of all, kudos to Jake Paul. The cojones this mother has. From a Disney kid to YouTube to... He can fight anyone and get views and make money. This crazy wild boy sends out the bat signal, the British bat signal for Anthony Joshua You know how crazy that is? I will say this. I don't think any of Jake Paul's fights are fixed in any capacity. At all. Not even close. I don't get down that narrative. I will say this, though. My spidey senses will go off if Anthony Joshua doesn't absolutely mop the floor with him.
Eddie Hearn stepped into the conversation next, pushing back on the idea that the fight would be watered down or staged. He insisted it wouldn't be an exhibition. He wanted fans to know that this was being treated as a genuine heavyweight fight, governed by the same rules as any other professional bout. He said discussions were still happening about final details, like weight and rounds, but the structure had already been decided. 10-ounce gloves, real scoring, and real intention.
Fighting Anthony Joshua.
No, look at my, oh no. Are you crazy? What the?
Are you scared?
No, I'm terrified.
I'm fighting Anthony Joshua.
The heavyweight?
Yes, the big boy.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
Are you for real?
I'm serious.
What's the world gonna say when you knock his ass? Because it's gonna happen.
I know it's gonna happen too.
Jake Paul, excuse me. Jake,
Hey.
who are you fighting, when, and why?
I'm fighting Anthony Joshua because I'm...
What?
I'm fighting Anthony Joshua because I'm him.
Holy sh**. Let me take a second. Is this mother...
Dude, it's light work. Light work.
On the opposite side of the situation, Logan Paul had his own emotional response when the fight was announced. He reacted with disbelief when he heard Jake had signed to face Joshua. Logan couldn't understand why Jake would voluntarily walk into a ring with a man who outweighed him, was taller, more experienced, and known for punching like a truck. Logan's reaction was so intense that he made a whole video expressing how stunned he was.
His chin's gone.
But he's still Anthony Joshua.
Which is stiff and no rhythm, no skill, just power.
You're serious about fighting him?
Yeah.
Derek Chisora joined the growing list of voices with warnings. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He felt that Paul was putting himself in grave danger. In his view, size and power weren't things you could trick your way around in a real heavyweight fight. Chisora believed that unless Joshua held back, Paul could take huge damage. And he didn't see any realistic way for Paul to keep the fight competitive.
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. Do you think that's going to happen? And if it does, what happens?
Listen, as I keep saying to everybody, man, in the Middle East there's a war happening, yeah? In Europe there's a war happening. In Africa people are dying. So we need a bit of entertainment, and right now this is a great fight for entertainment for us right now.
A one-round entertainment. Surely that doesn't go past one round.
We never know, you never know. But you know what? As I said yesterday, Jake Paul be so confident to get into this fight, because after you watch Daniel Dubois fight, you think you can do exactly what Daniel did. So listen, I'm up for this fight to happen, and I want to see AJ just put the lights out this young man.
100%, come on AJ.
Tony Bellew, known for being outspoken and brutally honest, took things even further. He found the concept of the fight almost laughable simply because of how unmatched the two fighters were in every important category. Bellew felt that Paul had never been exposed to anyone remotely close to Joshua's level. Even if Paul had beaten big names, they were nowhere near the level of heavyweight champions Joshua had battled over the years. Bellew insisted that the moment Joshua applied pressure, the difference in skill and experience would become instantly obvious.
What happens when, I think we both know, but for the sake of saying it specifically, if the two of them do collide in the ring,
Josh and Jake.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't believe a single thing until I see him in the ring. I don't believe any. Even if they come together for a press, I don't believe it. I don't genuinely believe he will climb into a boxing ring with 10-ounce gloves on with Anthony Joshua. It won't happen. It can't.
Hypothetically, if it does, how long does it last?
As long as Josh wants it to. Simple as that. As long as he wants it to. The same way it did with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. The same way it did with Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou.
Tyson Fury, on the other hand, threw gasoline on the fire. Whenever Fury talked about Joshua, it immediately caused waves due to their long, bitter rivalry. Fury made comments suggesting Paul could actually win, but the entire boxing world couldn't decide whether Fury was being serious or whether he simply enjoyed messing with Joshua's reputation. Fury had even claimed in the past that he'd put money on Paul beating Joshua. Some believed he meant it, others thought it was just another psychological game between him and Joshua. Either way, his comments instantly grabbed headlines and made the situation even more chaotic.
Do you regret the Joshua fight not happening?
No, I don't. I don't regret anything. Life's too short for regrets.
What do you think of Jake Paul calling him out?
I think it's a good fight. I think it's a real 50-50 fight.
Ryan Garcia also added his perspective, one that perfectly summed up how he felt about Paul's chances in the simplest way possible. Garcia looked at the matchup and immediately felt that Paul had chosen the worst person he could possibly agree to fight. That the idea of Paul challenging a heavyweight of Joshua's caliber seemed completely mismatched. He imagined Paul walking into the ring believing he had openings, only to find out very quickly that heavyweights simply weren't the same as the opponents he'd been facing. Garcia thought that if Paul somehow managed to steal a round or two, it would be an achievement by itself.
If he could win 1 or 2 rounds, to me, that's a W. You know what I mean? So this fight is probably the worst fight that Jake Paul could have took. Out of all the fights he probably had a choice, you know, myself, who else did they say? I forgot. The other guy, you know what I mean? That's worse. This is a big dude, heavyweight. Like, how you go from 135 to 225? Like, you know, it's gonna be difficult, but
why do you think he takes it, Ryan?
He's just addicted to doing huge fights. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he has so many options. He's always looking for the guy that can make the most noise. You know, all his picks that he's fought in the pros has been guys that have some name, whether they're UFC fighters, NBA players. You know, you want Gervonta Davis. He's small, so I know I could beat him. He's probably thinking Anthony Joshua. He gets, you know, maybe his chin is suspect. Maybe he's not even thinking about me. So I'm gonna come in and somehow hit him with my right hand because he believes that his right hand is as strong as Wilder's. You know, the way he talks, like my right hand is like this. So I think he's seen Dubai, I can't say his name.
Dubois.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking.
Drop his with the right hand. Oh, I could do that. Like, that's my shot. You know what I mean?
What about respect, though? I think Jake Paul's at a point where he wants respect. Because I do think he's better than what people think he is, right? Now, okay, now the stage is set. If he goes out there and battles with Anthony Joshua, we got to give Jake Paul 100%. Way more respect than we do now.
You know what
That's
Muhammad...
the victory. Just taking the fight. If he actually steps into the ring with Anthony Joshua, that's a victory.
That's big.
John Fury didn't hold back either. He believed Joshua had to attack aggressively and not show any hesitation because anything less would raise suspicions about the entire event. John Fury insisted that if Joshua came forward with real intent, the fight would end quickly. He thought the only way this matchup made any sense was as entertainment, not a contest between two athletes of similar level.
You know, I wish Anthony all the best of luck. But Anthony, listen to me. Don't take a dive with this Jake Paul, mate. Do not do that, not for $1 billion, my pal. Don't do it. Don't do as the others have done. Do not take dives. If he fights, you knock him dead as a nit, and good luck with it.
So I said he's going to bet £1 million on Jake Paul knocking out Joshua.
This is what I'm saying. How's that work?
He can't, can he?
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick. So if it goes any other way, you know.
You give me a headline there, by the way.
If it goes any other way, you know it's fucking fixed, don't you? Enough said. Enough said.
David Haye yet added another layer of concern. His primary worry wasn't about entertainment or rivalry, he focused entirely on danger. Haye emphasized that Joshua remained one of the sport's deadliest punchers, a man capable of ending fights with a single clean shot. He believed Paul had never been anywhere near that kind of power. Haye thought the biggest threat wasn't the later rounds, but the early moments where Joshua could land something devastating before Paul even settled into the fight.
I'm a massive fan of anything that brings eyeballs to boxing, anything that gets people who may not be interested in boxing to start watching boxing. I'm for that. I want to fan that flame. I think he's going to lose, but if he can you imagine if he somehow finds a way to win?
Is it legacy damaging for AJ?
No, it won't affect his legacy. If he goes out there and knocks Jake Paul out in 1 round, no one's going to think of it any worse of him than before.
Yeah. Dave Ellen, who is known for being extremely honest with fans about the realities of boxing, gave his own take. He respected Paul's dedication and even believed Paul had enough potential to someday win a smaller regional title. But Ellen drew a clear line. Paul wasn't a true heavyweight. Paul had spent most of his recent career fighting close to cruiserweight, while Joshua had been competing against massive, elite heavyweights for years. Ellen didn't see any competitive angle here, he saw danger. A single heavy punch from Joshua could shut down the fight instantly, and he feared that the risk of serious injury was higher than most people realized.
I reckon this kid Jake Paul could win an area title, definitely. I really think he could. He trains hard. I respect all of that. I respect him for what he's doing. Brilliant. You're having a go. Amazing. But he's now fighting arguably a top 3 top heavyweight of the last 10, 15 years. One, it's dangerous. We're talking like it's a real fight. The whole thing I've been doing right now is based on it's a real fight. They're both going to try and flatten each other. It's dangerous. He's not a heavyweight. He's a cruiserweight. If that. Turned pro at 13-2. And he wasn't a kid. He was 23 years of age. He wasn't a kid. He's not grown into heavyweight. He boxed as 5 months ago at 14-3. Might cut a bit of weight. Might come down from 15 stone, but it's dangerous, really. It's dangerous. Very dangerous, because if Anthony Joshua hits him on the chin, he will put him to sleep. He will hurt him, and he could really hurt him, because Mike Tyson in his late 50s, all his MMA fighters, Chavez shot to bits. When Anthony Joshua hits him, he'll have the shock of his fucking life. He's not naturally big enough, for one. 2, he isn't good enough.
And so, all of these voices, fighters, trainers, family members, promoters, legends, and even former football stars, landed on a similar concern, each in their own way. The fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua wasn't just a spectacle, it was a collision between 2 fighters who lived in completely different physical and competitive worlds. And while the entertainment value was undeniable, the danger lurking beneath it cast a long shadow over the entire event.